Puff and Pass!
Disclaimer, we are not professionals, nor are we experts in the topics we discuss. Please take what we say with a grain of salt. Have a nice day and remember to smile. Peace and love.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Puff and Pass. It's your boy, Red, the one and only. What's up, everyone?
What's up, yo?
What's good?
Hey.
How's everyone doing? Huh?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, no.
Going. Chilling.
Good stuff.
Alive.
Good stuff. We got a full crew at the table again.
Fuck yeah.
We've been fluctuating a little bit with that this year. You know, shit's been hectic. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Today we're doing a part 2 to social standards.
Say that one more time.
No.
Say it 10 times in a row.
So, before we get into that, I've decided this week, fuck news, we haven't got time for that this week, so we've got more important shit to talk about. And the more important shit is a bunch of mental...
You're just saying that. We couldn't find anything.
a bunch of mental health services, like references and links and stuff for Adelaide that I think are super important, super handy, and a lot of people in our age group can benefit from them. I'm going to jump into the UMHCC, which was the Urgent Mental Health Care Centre. People in Adelaide seeking urgent mental health support can arrive at UMHCC at 215 Grenfell Street, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The benefit to going to a place like this versus a hospital when you're having because that's a lot of people think that's their only option, is that when they're worried they might be in a dangerous situation with themselves, they go straight to triage, straight to the emergency room, and that in turn can lead to heightened situations. It could make it better. Like, it's there for a reason, but there are other options before going to the emergency room. And let's be real, the hospital's fucking scary. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the hospital.
Yeah, fuck the hospital.
Fuck that shit. So at 215 Grenfell Street, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a free service. You don't need a referral. You can just walk in there, have a chat with the people there. They've got professionals on site, and they offer just a little area to hang out, chill, and get your mind back on things.
That's gang.
Crisis and suicide support. There are phone numbers for that are free. Most of them are free. They might have international charges. So I think that's just if you're not Australian and you are calling those services, I think. So Kids Helpline. I'll have all these numbers dropped in the bottom of our description for this video. There's Beyond Blue. Kids Helpline, that's for kids, teens and young adults aged from 5 to 25, their parents and their carers. So you can call that number for advice on different subjects, just someone to talk to. There are multiple resources there. For children and young people, there's a National Sexual Assault, Family and Domestic Violence Counselling line that is open and accessible 24/7. So any time of the day. If you need to talk to someone but you can't get an appointment, or you don't want to go face-to-face, or maybe you just feel more comfortable in your own home, you can call 1-800-RESPECT and they will provide free counselling over the phone to you, and maybe some methods and steps with what to do from that point if you choose to move forward and seek any further help or assistance. Another one is called Blue Knot Helpline. The people who work at Blue Knot Helpline have real life experience in a lot of these subjects. They're not just counsellors with a degree. They're people who have been through similar situations. So they're also coming from an empathetic standpoint as well, and a human-to-human understanding as well. The number for that will be dropped below. Again, that's another one that you can call from the comfort of your own home. And they have a website called blueknot.org.au. CAMS Connect, the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services CAMS, is a specialised mental health service offered by the Women's and Children's Hospital Health Network.
I've had some experiences with CAMS.
With CAMS, yeah. Look,
sorry.
I've had mixed opinions about CAMS.
Yeah, why?
There are more, I'd say they're more of a like a franchise thing. Like, they're so big and commercial that they don't offer like some of the same hands-on personal care. This is just me recounting what I've had people personally tell me, that they have had better experiences at places that are more hands-on and direct. So like Headspace and CAMS I've heard the most
I just
about.
also want to say though, I have been to camps and I did have a really great psychiatrist.
Good shit. Thank you, Bella.
A really great one. The only thing that sucks is they switch them around all the time. So.
Okay.
Yeah, my experience at CAMS was pretty decent.
Cool, man. Cool. So that's another one, CAMS. They're quite mainstream. They're something that I've heard about before doing a lot of this research. Kids Helpline. The people who are on the other end of those calls are most of the time mandated reporters. Now, what being a mandated reporter means is that if a child comes to you with an issue that has their immediate well-being at risk, whether physical or mental, psychological health, they have to report that to first responders and authorities. That is their job. So if you're trying to talk about a certain situation, you don't want legal repercussion or something, you just want somewhere to vent, keep in mind that when you're talking to mandated reporters, it is their obligation, like they are obliged by the law to report anything for a young person that could be putting them in danger or anything. Yeah. Kids Helpline can be anonymous. Again, as long as it's not a situation that they think needs to be taken further, you can just call. You don't have to give a name. You can just have a chat with some real life people about how you're feeling or what you're going through. Beyond Blue has a youth section. So there's Beyond Blue, which started originally, and they've branched out to Youth Beyond Blue. This is for young people in particular from 12 to 25 years old who may be experiencing anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts. 24/7 counselling, free. You can visit their website, youthbeyondblue.com, or call the number that we will provide at the end of this as well. There are a few homelessness referral links that I'm going to go through quickly. SYC Trace a Place is part of a Homeless Connect SA, especially for young people aged 15 to 25. It's a 24/7 statewide telephone service for young people experiencing homelessness in South Australia. So anytime if you need advice, you don't know what services may offer free food or clothing or how to get into independent housing or something like that, that's a great number to call. Their website is syc.net.au, and they have lots of resources and information there about how to get out of homelessness or help make your current living situation better than what it may be. That is my summary of links for today. I won't go into any more of that, but they're just some links that I think are for great places, especially when it comes to immediately needing psychological help. I thought that one of the only options you had was to go to the emergency room. And that, again, like I said, can be very distressing for a lot of people. So just, keep that in mind. There are plenty of resources and links out there, and way more than what I've mentioned, obviously. Every service is going to be different for you personally. If the first one doesn't work, don't shoot it down. Don't go, this is fucked, I actually don't want help. Try different things. You know, Bella's had positive and negative experiences with CAMS. Ty's had a positive experience with CAMS. I've had shit experiences with Headspace, but in with different places it's been an incredible response, you know. So guys, getting into the itty gritty bits of today, we are revisiting social standards. There was a lot that we couldn't fit into the 45-minute episode because, you know, for 45 minutes is not a lot of time when you're talking about these issues. Okay, so Bella wasn't actually here for that episode. I'm going to just play some of the promos that our amazing fucking editor has pulled out because he's good at picking out the bits that really get you thinking. And we're just going to talk about what comes to mind when we watch these promos and revisit some of the subjects that we're talking about. Ignorance is bliss? Fuck that.
Ignorance is not
bullshit.
innocence.
No.
I believe in ignorance is bliss, but I don't believe ignorance is
I was going to
innocence.
say, I've always heard that ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is not innocence.
Fuck that, man. 100%.
Just because you were ignorant doesn't mean you were innocent. You could be standing there as a bystander. You were ignorant, but you weren't innocent.
Puff and pass!
So a thing that comes to my mind when I think about that is, where is the line drawn? Because, you know, there's children are innocent. Like, there's lots of innocence involved with children because they haven't had the chance to find out what's socially acceptable, what's right and wrong to say. At what age do you think that ignorance is no longer innocence in a way, or bliss? Do you guys think that there's a point in your life where that changes?
Such a broad term, ignorance. it's an individual person's experience.
I was thinking kind of the same thing as you, that like I think it would depend on like the environment maybe someone's brought up in, and they might not know as much, you know, compared to some other people.
Yeah, like their norms.
It's definitely factors.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. The example it was being used in there was my family being unintentionally racist to the people at the Indian restaurant who were serving us. So that's the context that was spoken in. I'm 20, which, you know, is pretty young. And I was with Ty, he was at the table as well, 19.
You old as hell.
So the other people at the table were 50, 60 years old. You know, we were the youngest there by quite a while. And we both had like that look in our face. Like that, what the fuck is this? This is so insensitive. Like I felt offended, and I'm not on the receiving end.
Embarrassment.
I think that's actually a better way to put it. Like it's like a car crash. Like I could not look, but I wanted to turn away so bad. Like it was fucked up. I think, like you guys are saying, personal life experiences will differentiate that. Like Ty brought up a good example with the social standards when we visited it, about a child who was homeschooled for a lot of his life, and when he went out into the real world, he was socially delayed a lot.
That's a really polite way to put it.
In the sense of what he enjoyed as a 16-year-old, he kind of had the mindset of a 12-year-old around cars and superhero movies and stuff like that. That kid, now that he's in the real world, now that he's experienced a little bit of it, I don't think he could just say like, oh, everyone's bullying me for no reason. Like, how ignorant can you really be at that point when, like...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, after being in such a different environment for a long time and then entering a new one, he's obviously going to experience bullying and stuff. But when is it ignorant of him to be like, oh, everyone's bullying me, I should just be allowed to be myself? Like, do you think that there's ignorance involved there?
Look, I think there has to be a middle ground. Like, it's not all just...
black and white.
Yeah, it's not all just the world has to accept me for me, or I have to be exactly what the world wants me to be. Like, there's a middle ground, you know?
Oh, yeah, you gotta meet in the middle.
Of being a sensible cunt.
Yeah.
And also, like, being yourself. Like, there's, like, a real strong middle ground. Like, have your personality, but, like, you gotta... It sounds kind of dicky, but you gotta fit in, right? Like, you gotta make yourself a part of the crowd, a part of the group, even if it's just within your sort of social crowd. Like, you gotta conform to the world in a sense, you know?
Yeah, it's like expecting everyone to never receive a backhanded comment or anything is just ridiculous. That's
no matter who you are.
Legit. No
legit.
matter of social standing, the way you choose to dress.
And also there are always people that are going to be like, and like not be very nice to you. That's just how the world works.
It's life.
Yeah, that's it. And like with groups, no matter how much we go, everyone love everyone, peace and love, you're always gonna have like fucking essays, fucking emos.
I say peace and love to everyone. I'm still like, look at this fucking idiot.
Exactly. But it's I think with the ignorance thing, there's an age where you can choose not to be ignorant anymore, and you have the right to inform your own.
Well, I think most things are pretty all like free game until like 16 and 18. Those are the years where you're like, you got to start looking outside of yourself a little bit. You know? You got to start looking at your environment, and you got to see your placement within it, you know, where you want to be and how you're going to get there, you know? Like, there's like, especially when you're 18. 18's like, that's it. That's the cutoff year. That's when you're like, I got to have my shit together, and I got to be like you have no excuse to blame anyone. You can legally buy your own alcohol, then you should legally be forced to like figure your shit out.
Yeah, be entitled to your own thing. Like, stand by your own shit. Own your shit. Like, don't look to put it on other people.
That's right. Yeah,
definitely. And
I hate when people use ignorance as an excuse to get out of like sticky situations. Like, I just thought of that. Like, I know a lot of older people that like, if they get confronted by something that they've done, they'll just be like straight away, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I fully didn't know." Like you did.
Like, yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
fake ignorance. That's like pretending to be like just not aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
using
Or like-
a blanket.
You know when people use that excuse for, we had it in my friendship group. We just have this one friend who has like no filter, and every time he says some real bad shit, we're always like, well, not me, but everyone in the group's like, but it's just him, you know. He doesn't know any better. So they're like
That's
playing.
enabling.
Yeah,
But they're
literally.
also playing the ignorance card on him. They're like, oh, he
Yeah.
doesn't know any better,
Yeah.
so it's all right.
They were allowing
What?
that behavior.
Yeah, it's like one of my good friends.
Mm.
I say that, you know, with some feelings behind it. One of my good friends.
I fucking love him dearly.
He I always have like arguments with him about social things. Like, he is white and always says the fucking N-word. He does it in front of me as a trigger. He does it to trigger an emotional response because I'm some social justice warrior to him, and he just thinks
Slap
it's funny.
that man quick,
Right?
bruv.
Facts, bro. It's like one time he brought up a fact to me. He's like, "Oh, I don't know any better, man. It's so hard to not say the N-word in a rap song." And I'm
Wait,
like,
what?
"Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I know."
Bro,
And
drop that.
I gave the example to him. I said, "If you're really that fucking caught up about a 2-syllable word that fits the song, brother, homie, that there is literally 100 other words you can use."
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, like,
Look, bro.
that's just, you know, that's just ridiculous, man. And he, like, one time with my mum is a person of color. She's an islander. And one of the first things he asked me to ask my mum is, would your mum mind if I told her a racist joke? And I'm like,
People that
I
think like, sorry.
yeah, no, you're right. I was just thought, well, this is either going to go one of two ways.
My
mum's
mum's
gonna
gonna
be-
smack
No,
you.
it's either my mum's going to be impressed you got fucking balls to walk up to her and say that shit to her face, or you're going to get smacked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And if he gets smacked the fuck out, he's probably going to learn. He's probably going to learn from that situation, but he fucking hasn't. He chooses to be ignorant. Fuck you. He chooses to be ignorant about those sorts of things. And he does do it to get a reaction out of people. He has said to me before, he does it to get a rise out of people. Like,
People think it's like cool and like out of pocket and like
yeah, man. Oh,
dark
like,
humor.
I was-
Like,
oh,
fuck
bro, I'll say
off,
that makes me
man.
think of like dog humor bullshit. Like, no, you're just a shit cunt, bro. And you just have no filter.
You can't just blame everything on dark humor.
Yeah, like, fuck me, man. That's not how the world works, bruv. Like, oh, ridiculous. But no, you make a good point, man. So many people use ignorance as a deflection in a way, and it's like, dude, you clearly fucking do.
But then again, with that, I do think there are people out there, maybe younger people, who might not even realize what they're doing, and then once they're told, then they can go, "Oh, that is not right, and I
Definitely.
shouldn't do that."
It's like using an example for me. I used AAVE a lot, which is it's a black version of English, and it was created systematically from black people back, a while ago now. They were picked on for their accents and the way that they spoke, so they created their own sort of vocabulary with people. And now I didn't know how big of a spectrum AAVE is. Like, things
Has
like
anyone ever heard of that before?
No.
Is that
I
just
read
like
something on your Facebook about
Black
it.
Yeah.
American accents?
Yeah. And using certain words and examples like bye Felicia, sis, per, period, like using words that weren't created by using words that weren't created by your demographic and like using them as a way. I spoke with a lot of AAVE for my whole life, like especially going up around my Islander family. That was my ignorance. They openly used that kind of language, and the N-word especially. My family call each other my N-word, stuff. And it's an endearing term for them, but that doesn't mean that no one else is going to be offended by it and that it's not necessarily the right or wrong thing to do. But yeah, my ignorance around that, I offended a lot of people, and now I try to speak more consciously with those sorts of things. So like, that's just another example of how when you're young, like, you don't necessarily know, but like Ty said, there's a point in your life where you're responsible for your own fucking opinion and your own thoughts and, morals and beliefs and so on.
Yeah.
When I was little, like, I hated rich people.
Yeah.
Hated.
Because they're snobby
no,
cunts.
bro, you get driven to school by your parents every day, you're a fag. Oh, shit.
Shit like that.
Oh,
As a fucking kid.
fucking sorry. Jesus. All right. All right. Woo. Woo. First of all,
Oh no.
I'm going to call myself out there. Red, that's not cool terminology to be using, man, to describe a shitty person or a shitty situation. Just because you're queer doesn't mean you get to use that word like that, dude. Wow. Sorry,
I
guys.
do not like that word.
That
Pause.
really...
In 4K.
Oh, that was nuts. Holy
You
shit.
can't get the fuck out.
Dude, all right, so I'm
invited
handing
you?
over the rights of the show to Ty.
Yeah.
I'm out of here, guys. So that was
They didn't even
nuts.
actually say I planted that there. It's a hostile takeover.
I almost don't want to play it again for fuck's
Look,
sake. All right,
bro.
all right, let's get through this promo and then we can talk about it. All right. When I was little, like, I hated rich people.
Yeah.
Hated.
Because they're snobby
no,
cunts.
bro, you get driven to school by your parents every day, you're a fag. Shit like that, man. Like, I'm serious. Shit that I should have as
Yeah.
well as a fucking kid. That's why I was angry. That's why I
Yeah.
reacted.
It's like when your
that.
parents would look at like rich kids with their parents and go, look at those snobs.
Puff and pass.
All right. Holy shit.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So, other than my use of a slur in an inappropriate time, I think that video again kind of
Wait,
ties in.
no, forget what you're about to ask.
Okay.
Here's a social standard.
All right.
Because it's your demographic, are you allowed to take the slur?
Well, see, that's what. Just because I'm queer, that even made me go, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Like, if that even made me go, "Whoa," then you know, it was clearly unfiltered opinion at
Yeah.
the time, and I was just telling you about how I'm talking consciously, and then that fucking happens. I called myself out again. 4K, can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Because I'll say it, like me being a fag, I throw that shit around like it's nothing.
Mhm.
But like, I don't think I've used it to like really describe
Yeah,
other people, especially in a context like
Look-
that. Remember how everyone called everyone gay?
yeah, it's a derogatory.
You know?
Like, shit was gay, stupid gay.
Yeah.
I bumped my toe on that wall. That wall was gay.
Well, that's the exact. See now when we're talking about this sentence,
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta say the F slur. Where like I know for a fact I just said fag 2 seconds ago.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I feel like I don't know.
See, look, I think that I need to lead by example as a person in the queer community. If I care so much about people not using that word as a slur, then I need to lead by example, which I did not just fucking do.
All right.
So,
Good on you.
looking back and evaluating that that piece of media,
Yeah.
I would say that even if I didn't feel offended and I felt entitled to use that word in that situation, that can still
You still
offend
want to
other
lead
people.
by example.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, alright.
So, you know,
I dig it.
if straight people shouldn't be saying it, queer people probably shouldn't be saying it either. I get reclaiming a slur, but there's a time and place. That's
True.
probably not the appropriate time
True.
or place for that situation.
Oh, you know, I actually take it back about me saying like I've never said someone's a fag. I grew up in the hip hop scene.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
We're all calling everyone that, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Like, on that, I said this when we first spoke about it. I always say to you, it's queer as fuck. Like, as in lame or shit. And queer does not equal lame or shit. So to be using it,
Except in your case, because you're lame and shit.
you're not gonna fuck yourself. Fuck, you know. Fuck you. You melted my brain just then. Yeah, even if my intention wasn't to offend anyone, people could still be offended by that. Lead by example.
Yeah.
That was-
Conscious speaking.
Yeah, that was ignorant of me. I wasn't conscious when I was speaking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my apologies from that, I guess.
Calm, bro. Calm.
Moving forward.
Cancelled.
How did you feel not moving forward. How did you feel as a queer person hearing that? Because we all had the same reaction
Yeah, we
to
were
that.
all
We were
kinda
all like,
like,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Look, I think it just caught me off guard.
yeah. Wasn't ready.
You get driven by your parents to school? What up?
Oh, that was
Look,
nuts.
bro.
That was nuts.
Look, bro.
But see, look, speaking about that, I'm drifting a little bit, but with the social standing thing and consciously speaking, it's like you don't know when it's okay to use terminology when you're even giving examples. Like for last week, I said if someone calls you a black C or something, like it was really poor. The example that I used. Rachel even, I think in this episode, said the arsehole about 18 times in like a little 5-minute clip, but she was giving a good example. Yeah, but the example that Rachel was giving was important. Like it made complete sense. So did the example I was giving, but it can still. People could still be like, dude, why the fuck are you even saying that? Even saying that is feeding into it. Like, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow. That's not what I intended to do with that promo, but, you know.
Dissected that one.
You know, but that's, again, a social standing thing. It's going to differentiate from person to person, demographic to demographic, group to group, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I respect understanding that's good.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
to say that,
Yeah, hell yeah. It's about learning, man.
Because absolutely you can, but like respectable.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's a time and place for everything, you know, and that, yeah, I don't feel that was a time and place. Looking back at that video now, that was fucking nuts. Anyway, the reason I brought that video up, it ties in again to, I think, the ignorance side of it. Like, and now that we've brought it up, we can look at stigma and language while we're talking about that too.
I'd like to say that I was kind of personally attacked by that.
Yeah, did you feel offended by that?
Why? Because you were driven to school by your parents?
I would just say that my grandpa worked really hard for the life that he has.
Fuck yeah.
And I feel a little bit attacked because I didn't choose to be brought in to that.
No,
like,
I said at the end of that, things that I should have got to, that's why I was bad. Like, you deserve to be driven to school as a fucking kid.
Bit of jealousy.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think that, like, it's just,
to blame the kid for it isn't fair. That's ignorant of me to put it onto the kid. 100%.
That's a really good point.
Fuck yeah.
It's just because a lot of kids don't understand that it's not the rich kid at your school. It's the rich parents with rich children. Like, it's just the rich kids, dude, like the rich parents' kid.
The rich kid in your class is not the reason your life sucks, bro.
Yeah. And they're not actually a rich kid. Their parents are rich and they are just part of that family.
I just want to say too that sometimes I feel really shit for being in the position that I am, because I feel really bad for people who aren't in that position. And that's why I don't really bring it up or anything.
Look,
because
the first time I came to your house, Bells, I was overwhelmed, if I'm honest. Like, I was like,
bro,
this is nice, man. Like, I felt dirty in your house. I was like, I'm going to make Bella's floor dirty, bro. I'm like, this house is so nice. Yeah, no, really. I felt like I would all of a sudden outside of Bella's house, we connect on so many things, and like that's why we're great friends. But then I've never felt so not relatable to her before, like until having that situation. But yeah, you bring up a good point that it's fucking ignorant it's ignorant for anyone to put shit onto a child when they can't control what they're born into. The same way I can't control. I didn't have parents drive me to school every day. They can't control that they do have that either.
No, it's like there's one kid at school, everyone thinks they're rich because, you know, their family has multiple houses and so on, but they're like, I don't have access to that wealth. I can't even comprehend looking at it. Like, but everyone just goes, oh, but you're the rich kid.
100. Just make that assumption.
Exactly, just because off of like family members' cars or so on, and nothing, like assets that belong to other people, then these huge assumptions are made off of ignorance, and it's just very toxic.
So would you guys be comfortable being friends with someone in different financial groups too? Like, is that a thing that would bother you at all?
It's overwhelming, hey. Like, you and I, we grow up in houses where like our doors are barely on the hinges.
Yeah, above the wall, the roofs are peeling. Like
pretty sure you're missing a window.
Yeah,
legit, bro. You know, so it's like,
I don't got a stove that works.
Like, my friendship group has changed a lot over the time, especially the more I've learned how to present myself a bit better.
For sure.
And like, a lot of my homies' houses are kind of crazy, man. And it's just like, I just sit there for hours just staring around like, imagine having all of this shit, you know? But like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's hard, but it's like, they're still like my best mates outside of, you know? I just gotta not think of, it's like, it's a reflection on myself. If
Yeah,
anything.
not them.
Not them. It's a
Yeah,
reflection on myself.
100%.
Because being broke, right? You grow up thinking rich people are fucked, just so you don't feel bad about
being
not having
poor.
money.
Yeah,
Exactly
about being
that.
lesser off.
Someone in my family used to kind of show it off like
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
and that makes me really uncomfortable.
For
Like,
sure.
I am not a fan of that because I know there are people who would die to be in the position that I
Yeah.
am in.
And
Yeah.
they're just flexing it like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, like if I could, I would have all of my friends live in my house with me so we could all enjoy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know you,
Together.
Bella. You'd set up fucking camp for 1 million people. If you could, and
Yeah.
had the means to do so, definitely.
Grass is greener on the other side type shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
But there's always like richness doesn't equal happiness, and
Fuck.
For sure.
of course, like
Facts.
rich kids may have fucked up parents and have issues with
Yeah.
their families. So
I do.
yeah, definitely.
No,
So,
yeah, exactly. Just because you have a material thing
Oh, yeah.
does not equal
It-
anything
Any-
else.
It does
Yeah.
also make me think sometimes I'm like, why do I have these issues? You know, like
Oh, like you feel
Have-
selfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but other people in my life I also find aren't as grateful as me to be in this situation.
Oh,
For
I know.
sure.
I know people with fuck all that are not grateful for anything. You
Yeah,
know?
on
Like,
the opposite, on the
yeah,
total
on that
opposite end of the
yeah,
spectrum.
there are
Yeah,
people who are grateful for every single thing they have,
yeah.
and people who couldn't give a fuck less.
Legit,
Like whether or not they have anything or they don't, they just don't care.
legit.
Like the example, Rocky, that you brought up with rich parents and poor parents money doesn't necessarily equal happiness. My dad is a pretty good example of this. He was good friends with the doctor's
I was
son.
gonna bring that up, man.
He was good friends with the doctor's son. Now, this family had fucking everything, bro. New bike, they had it. New scooter, they had it. TVs came out with color, they fucking had it. They had all the gangster shit when it came out. But what did they not have? A dad who ate dinner with them every night
Hey.
and fucking played ball with them. He was always working, man. Work to the grave. And he said at his father's funeral to my dad, he said, I was angry at my dad that your dad, I was so jealous watching you and your dad. I never got that with my dad. So just because he's some rich, well off, like this dude, the taps of his sink cost more than my housemate. This dude's fucking rich, all right? He's banked up. But emotionally, he has nothing on the inside.
And he proved you can't buy time back.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
people get addicted to the money, and then
No,
they
bro.
lose.
Yeah.
It's all about
they
the
lose
bag,
the
bro.
love in the
But
family.
facts, man.
I also just want to say, like, with that, it's like my grandpa, I had to travel all the time away from his children. So
To maintain that lifestyle
yeah,
for you guys.
yeah, so he wasn't there all the time.
Mhm.
Like, so it does, like, I think really make a big impact. And it's like my grandma had to take over
Yeah.
and have to look after everyone and make sure everyone was okay. So it was kind of also it was also hard too, because, you know, yeah, it was great that he was going out there to like give my mum and my uncles like a good life.
Yeah, he had to stay out and he had to keep working to
Yeah.
keep that lifestyle and income.
Yeah.
Can definitely relate to that. My dad works for like some refugee. He used to work for CRS, but he switched jobs recently. We ain't balling, but like he works for refugees. And,
Wow, man.
yeah, it's good. It's really good work.
Yeah.
Like, happy for him and whatnot. But it is like, it's hard because he's like gone 60 or 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So it does put a weight on the family, and it's kind of like it shifts like the dynamic of the
Yeah,
family. It makes
definitely.
it weird and
Yeah.
cooked when he is here, and then when he's not, it's like you hear 50-50.
And
Like,
it's like
Yeah.
your
What are
mom's
you?
got to act
Yeah.
as a single mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
90% of the
can't
time.
imagine that.
It's-
My dad's my best
Yeah,
friend,
man.
man.
I would say with our dad, though, when we were younger, we had a stay-at-home mum and a dad who worked 6 till fucking 6 every day of his goddamn life. He's always
Yeah.
working for his kids, mate. I didn't see a lot of my dad.
yeah.
We got weekends and stuff. We were lucky enough to have sports
Yeah,
and all
I guess
that,
it was
but we
only
didn't
those
see.
years.
Yeah, like in our early childhood until my parents split. Now, but we're not rich.
No.
We're not well off. We have what we need, and we're fucking grateful for that.
For
you know what I
sure,
mean?
for
but,
sure.
but I can relate to
Yeah.
a higher financial you know, someone in a higher financial situation to I am, missing out on their parents, I can still relate to that in a way. Now I have a much different relationship with my parent, like with my dad. Thank fuck. I'm really grateful for that. But I even relate to that with a poorer family. That still resonates with my demographic of people as well.
I also just want to say that I am so grateful for my grandfather. Like, he's
How about a shouts out for all the hardworking parents and shit, man, and grandparents, guardians,
Because, like, I don't have a father, so he is my father figure.
Yeah.
He means the world to me.
Yeah.
He's so good to me.
He did a
and I
good
love
job
him.
at fulfilling that role. And
even though for a while I was like, no, I'm not going to accept you as like my father figure, because I was like, I had this weird thing with that.
No, I get it
of
for
course,
sure.
of course, yeah.
But he really is, and I love him so much.
Yeah. Look, you can be friends with people from different walks of life, man. Like Ty said, it can be like overwhelming, and sometimes there might be like your friends can afford to do things you can't. Like you're always the broke friend.
I had that big problem in primary school in particular. I went to this religious little primary school, and so we had...
religious primary school?
Yeah, it was a Catholic primary school.
I went to a Catholic primary school.
Jesus!
And, yes, religious raising, know my scriptures. Anyway, we had a bunch of different students, and in one of my friends in particular, she was this little Indian girl, and me as a child didn't understand... in particular, the wealth brackets in between a Centrelink payee receiver and an Indian family that are hardworking.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I remember going to one of her birthday parties, and she had one of those it was like a Cabbage Patch Kid or some Raggedy Ann doll sort of thing, but it was bigger than her.
Wow.
Along with like 30 other gifts and stuff like that. I remember going to her house, and it was like 3 stories, like 2 stories in the basement and stuff like that. And then she wanted to go to my house, and it was like, that can't happen. Just mum didn't allow me to have people over because she's a hoarder and so on.
Yeah.
So there's all of this accumulated mental illness that's laid out in front of you in a big picture. And it was just, when I started getting, I was so jealous and angry and envious of just.
Did you think that the way you lived was normal? Like that everyone else lived like that?
I didn't understand that, you know, when I walked into a house and it was as clean as a show floor, I was like, that's unnatural.
Yeah.
That's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
And then I realized going to more people's houses
that's
that
pretty legit.
everyone's clean and my house is feral.
Yeah.
And it was just like this, almost like a morality check and a crisis all at the same time, just realizing that you hadn't had anything in comparison to what people around you had. And it's like, as I'll say, I mean, I'm thankful for mum. As she says, she stuck around, unlike my dad, who is in another state, for work. Because that was another thing I was angry about as a child, that work was more important than me. I didn't understand it. And mum didn't receive help or funding from him to then justify the reasoning of me feeling abandoned. But it wasn't. But it's just like, so many kids don't understand that their environment is not, like, it's almost like a safe environment. There are safe environments, and a lot of us aren't raised in one.
Oh, yeah. No shit.
I definitely found when I was younger that because I went to, like, this Catholic school, and fun fact about me, I used to live in Canada. And even when I lived in Canada, like, where we lived, there was a lot of the kids had quite, you know, a lot of, you know, there was wealth.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really till I hit high school that I realized, like, I obviously knew about, like, people not having, you know,
but
as
not
much
to
money.
the extent that it actually is.
Yeah. And then I really realized about it, you know?
Definitely. And, like, your opinion changes on so many things as you grow, man. Like, you can have a completely different... If I knew someone came from money 5 years ago, I would not be friends with them because of that.
Yeah.
Because, fuck you, I'm not you, I'm jealous of you.
Yeah, how can we ever relate to anything?
Yeah. If our fundamentals are so different, then what the fuck are we gonna vibe over? 100%, man. But like,
But it turns out we all like smoking weed and
bro. No,
snorting
I was
caps.
just about to say, fucking smoking weed introduced me to such a wide variety of people. Like, the people I started hanging out with were a lot lower than me and a lot better off than me as well. You know, like the spectrum of the social groups in that sense just fucking changes so much. And you can meet 30 different people every day smoking weed in town with your friends, like going place to place like I fucking used to. You know what I mean?
Hey.
But
Anyone smokes weed, man.
yeah. Look, anyone can be friends with anyone, man. And like, it comes down to simple things like food, music. You are going to have something. I guarantee if you spent 5 minutes sitting down with someone, you'll find one thing you have in common. Even if it's the fucking Port Power football team. If you have one thing in common, you'll be able to find it. But you don't need common ground to have a relationship, whether it's workplace, personal, romantic, whatever. You don't have to have the same background, the same understandings or same beliefs as other people to get along and have a good conversation and, you know.
As any good magnet, opposites attract, motherfuckers.
Legit.
No, facts. Yeah, 100%. I think a summary of today's episode and part 1 to this episode is be conscious when you're speaking to anyone about anything. People are going to have different standards, different beliefs, and different morals depending on how they were raised and what stage of their life they're at currently. Take everything with a grain of salt, man. Go forth with love and just be fucking nice to one another. And just because you don't like someone doesn't mean you have to fucking hate crime them or whatever. Just don't fucking talk to them.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, you don't have to respect someone to be kind to them. Just because you don't respect their ideologies and them as a person doesn't
Kill
mean
them
you
with
can't
kindness.
just be fake kind.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Or just don't fucking say anything. It'll keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all.
Exactly.
We've all been told that at one point or another.
Facts.
Look, man, as always, shouts out to our editor Rory from Podbooth. Shouts out to the local drug action team for funding us. Links below. Shouts out to everyone for joining us here today for another installment of Puff and Pass.
Puff and Pass.
Bitches love the salsa. Gotta get fucked
It's not the lyrics.
Yeah,
Almost spits out drink.
It's the third time I've heard you say it and I'm getting fed up.
bitches love the salsa.
Puff and Pass.